The Marvel's Avengers video game was one of the worst live service failures we've ever seen, and now that it's officially delisted, it has got everyone talking about the list of failed Marvel titles that we have seen in the past. I have a few different things that I want to show off, but before we get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, follow me on social media, and consider supporting through Patreon or via YouTube memberships. So I wanted to start off with this Cosmic Book News article. It says Marvel shifting video game strategy following Marvel's Avengers flop. Now, this was truly one of the worst video games that we have seen released, in one of the worst states we've seen a game release, and to top it all off, they didn't really care. I mean, they doubled and tripled down. This game was just a disaster all around, even though there were a lot of people who wanted it to, be a good game. Unfortunately for them, they definitely launched this Avengers game after the Avengers hype, really started to die down, and they were kind of trying to go away from the Avengers in the movies and the TV shows, and now that this has failed, it is being added to the list, and there's more than one or two flops that they've had. But it says following recent busts, which includes the Avengers video game, it is claimed that Marvel is going to shift its strategy when it comes to video games. Now, I would love a good Marvel video game. I'm always up for testing out any kind of game with any kinds of characters, but I just don't have a lot of faith in them given their track record. It says only the Marvel Spider-Man game has seen any success, and as pointed out by a fan on Twitter, games such as Avengers, Midnight Suns, and Future Revolution have been big flops. I agree. I mean, I think that the Spider-Man game, the first one, was good. Miles Morales was an okay game. It definitely didn't, do as good as the first Spider-Man game, and I understand why. It didn't really do anything new or unique. The story was just not as good as the first one, and now that Spider-Man 2 is coming up on its release this month, I think that we're going to see another kind of call from fans for more games like Spider-Man, but clearly they just are not capable of doing that right now. It says Marvel is painfully aware of how their video games division hasn't been reaching its potential overall. There have been whispers of an internal shift for Marvel to focus on games. The new EA Black Panther and Iron Man games will be the start of a push for something big, and it's not really surprising to see why, right? Video games make an absolute boatload of money. I mean, the video game industry is worth far more than the entertainment / Hollywood. And it's no surprise to see that they would want to branch off into video games and really put a focus on that. It's honestly kind of surprising they haven't over the years, but they have, tried to release a game every, couple of years, and it just hasn't gone well for them. But I do think that if they really started pushing games out and they started actually listening to consumers, it could be successful. But as you can see, we've got Marvel's Avengers shut down, Marvel's Midnight Suns flopped, Marvel Future Revolution shut down, Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy flopped, Marvel's Heroes Omega shut down, Avengers Academy shut down, Realm of Champions shut down, and Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2 delisted. Ultimate Alliance was also good. I do think that saw some success, and I know that, fan reception when you mention Ultimate Alliance is pretty positive. But as you can see from this list, yeah, I mean, there were a lot of flops. Now, granted, people did not trust Marvel games after Avengers, so a lot of people did not give Guardians of the Galaxy a chance. It looked very similar. People did not give Marvel's Midnight Suns a chance. Again, we just didn't have a lot of faith in them. But when it comes to Avengers, I mean, it was a nightmare from the start. It had issues. It was a predatory mess. Having $10 battle passes for each new character in a full-price AAA game was unacceptable. The first major patch fixed over 1,000 bugs and glitches, which just proved that it was rushed out without really caring about the quality. Then 85% of the player base ditched the game within 2 months of launch, and in a desperate attempt to make money, they added pay-to-win boosts, and there was just no way to win fans back. And to top it off, you also have issues with like the story pacing just being really bizarre. The additions of characters felt very forced. They just kind of showed up and were like, hey, I'm here to save saved the day because you swiped your credit card. And then you have like the character models. Black Widow did not look anything like Scarlett Johansson. Thor did not look like Chris Hemsworth at all. Captain America did not look like Chris Evans at all. I mean, the list can go on and on. The only character that looked decent was Hulk. And Iron Man too. But you had just so many problems, and then they finally decided it's over, that's it, we give up. And they did decide to announce a few months ago the closure of the game, right? They were no longer going to put time and effort into it. They basically said the state of the game is the state of the game. We're not going to be updating it anymore. Then they just a week ago had finally delisted it from every storefront, so you can no longer purchase it anymore, even though it was being sold at a 90% discount. And they just overall did not see success with this video game. And it is a shame, but at the same time, they did so many things that buried this title. And then, of course, you have some people saying things like The Gamer, it sucks that Marvel games are flopping because it's the thing they're doing best. They're not doing best when it comes to these games. These games are flopping for a reason, because they are just not putting in the effort. They're not getting the correct writers. Even the characters look nothing like their live action counterparts. So while I do agree I would like to see more Marvel games be successful, they are not, doing good with these. It's not the thing that they're doing best. Marvel is not really doing best in any specific category, in my opinion, when it comes to gaming or just entertainment with the movies and the TV shows. They're just not really creating a lot of great content right now. And, we've talked about this game for years at this point, but it was a live service title that really made people open their eyes to live service and go, oh, I don't like these types of games. Crystal Dynamics was scrambling to maintain the game's rapidly declining player base, and it may be because of the games as a service model, and this was in 2020. But as you can see, it was announced to massive hype and high expectations, something that was supported by a reported 6 million players participating in the open beta. So it had the potential to be massive. I mean, 6 million players in a beta is a hefty amount of players, and they were able to maintain them. There were people who were pretty hyped for it going into this beta, but then again, once full launch came around, it just fell off of a cliff. People gave up on it. It says those numbers were better on PlayStation, where nearly 2 million people own the game, but of those numbers, only a third had been active in the last month, and the average length of time for a player before players stop playing the game is around 8 days. And again, this was at launch. I mean, those are not good numbers. And as it says, it had been developed according to a service model where the game is supported after launch with regular and extensive updates to its content, balance, and so on, as seen with Warframe, Destiny, and even MOBAs and MMOs like League of Legends and Guild Wars. Games no longer remain static after release, instead being continually developed over the course of years, and now they have shut it down just simply because they didn't see a point to. It is a shame that, Marvel has definitely dropped the ball when it comes to video games, and even though we've got like 2 or 3 half decent ones, their recent launches just have not been good. Marvel's Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, Midnight Suns, all flops, all failures, and we will have to see if these rumors are true, if they are actually going to be putting a focus on video games. It wouldn't surprise me because of how much money video games can make and how much the industry in total makes every single year. But honestly, it kind of comes across as maybe they're a little bit desperate. They didn't really focus on video games because they thought that they were going to continue to make massive amounts of money when it came to movies and TV shows, and now that they are on the decline they're trying to find a way to, just gain some more revenue, and now they're setting their sights on the gaming industry. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this, make sure to give it a like, share it, and subscribe to the channel. And of course, if you didn't, make sure to give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.